despite the fact that this is like an incredibly random episode of television with no, can you imagine like if True Detective, like you're just like hanging out at home and it's like 1 a.m. and they're like, oh yeah, new episode, let's just drop it, show up, do your thing, come watch it.
I mean, given
Nope.
how 2020 is going,
Yeah, this real True Detective hours right now. That is true. So I guess we want to like, and by the way, yeah, it's business is booming. So yeah, talk to us. What are you drinking tonight before we get into the bad news, which is all the news? All the news is bad.
before we even set up the parameters for this bad news business, even drop some comments. We want to know.
Yeah, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? I've got a Tecate. I drank it though, like right before we got on air. I'm gonna try to put it to the side for like a few minutes and raw dog this reality. What do you got?
Raw dog, raw dog.
Raw dog, raw dog.
I'm drinking. So I am drinking a very interesting combination of yerba mate and gin. So gin and juice with yerba mate.
Well, listen.
So
all the news is bad.
Everybody's gonna log off now after they stop
viewer business is booming. Things are great. So listen. All the news is bad today. There's absolutely nothing positive about life to report. And I'm just gonna like show you this first thing. What?
Before you show me, I want to let everybody that's watching this know I have had the blessed experience today of being so busy that I've not read any of the news. So this is like kind of a shitty video, I guess you could call it, like a really shit unboxing video where we will not go to sleep. In fact, we will do the opposite and just delve into the bad news. But that said, I'm going to be the most optimistic, obnoxious version that I always am. So let's go bad news.
You go for that.
Bad news bears.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. Can't hear it. It looks bad though. It looks like shit.
Okay, so listen. According to the Guardian, Donald Trump is defending a doctor who claimed medicine is made from alien DNA. He shared on Twitter a post with some rando doctor from Texas saying, listen, you don't need any of this bullshit about like coronavirus vaccines. We've got the cure. It's hydroxychloroquine. It's the same shit that they've already like debunked a zillion times. But they found like just a random doctor in Texas and they lined her up with a bunch of people. And then, of course, they looked into this woman's history. And it turns out that she's very into demons. And she thinks that these people are like...
Demon.
She thinks people are fucking demons and that is what's giving them the coronavirus. She also thinks that the whole thing with the virus and the vaccine is to give us alien DNA. You know, we've been talking a lot about what's inside the vaccine, and it turns out that it's like literal alien DNA. It's fucking absurd. It's kind of a nightmare. So Twitter obviously kicked. They kicked them off. They kicked the post off. And when the reporter pointed out that this doctor believes in fucking aliens and thinks that the vaccine is going to lock people out from going to heaven, Trump, and they're showing the clip of this, Trump like curses out the reporter and then slides out before they can ask a follow-up question. I blame the moon being hexed. We were thinking that, well, they don't have the power. Like it would take a lot of power to place a hex on the moon, and maybe we need Lorena, our moon hexing correspondent.
And Melissa. Motherfucker, I'm a witch too. Come on. Just kidding.
Are you though?
I mean, but
are you really a witch? Have you ever hexed the moon?
let's
Name some major astral bodies that you have hexed before we can even listen to you and take you seriously. Get it together.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Giant Dipper?
No, I haven't. Oh, exactly. That's a good point. Okay. Have you ever hexed Uranus? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, but it prolapsed, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a big shame.
That was a bad joke, sorry. But here's my positive spin.
I'd love to hear this.
Okay, here's the thing. I forgot it, and so I need you to remind me what we just watched because my brain was like, I won't accept this reality. So one more shot, really quick. Repeat to me briefly what that idiot said.
Okay, I will do this one more time, and I will just share the tweet from the Hill.
Oh! Video featuring doctors making false and misleading claims about coronavirus that was shared by President Trump was removed by Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube this week. The video, which was published by the right-wing outlet Breitbart News, shows people wearing white lab coats holding a press conference in front of the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. The group, which calls itself America's Frontline Doctors, states that, quote, you don't need masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and says studies showing hydroxychloroquine is ineffective for the treatment of the disease are fake science and sponsored by fake pharma companies, according to CNN.
But yeah, it's bad. It's really messed up. It's kind of terrible. What's the positive spin? What's the positive spin on the fact that Donald Trump's doctor believes in fucking aliens? And remember that you're on mute, dude.
There it is. God, I felt like I had a really funny one at first, and now I am sort of sinking in this mud. But here, I will say something very horrible, which is maybe. Nope, I can't even say that. I can't.
All right,
I can't say that.
I've got more good news. The Democratic National Committee. What? What do you got?
You said you had more good news.
Yeah, I've got more.
I have Tupac shirt on.
I've got more incredible news. The DNC has voted to reject Medicare for All overwhelmingly, to even put it on paper in their platform. 85% of Democrats support Medicare for All. The DNC rejected it 125 to 36. They also rejected just a mere expansion of Medicaid to Medicare for children and people over the age of 55. They also rejected very firmly a legal weed proposal. And to give you an idea of how like wild that is, dude, Pete Buttigieg was running on legal weed, guys. We're talking to the right of Mayor Pete. We're also talking
right.
Yeah. We're also talking a platform to the right of Hillary Clinton, who Barack Obama in 2008 called Bush Cheney light. It really just shows how ridiculously far we've fallen, just levels and levels and levels. Obviously, everybody's outraged, and a lot of the Bernie delegates have, said that they're not going to support this. But listen, the fact is, you had your little task force, and this is what the task force brought you back. Okay, butt kiss. They didn't bring you shit, and so you're going to be eating the shit that they didn't bring you. Is basically what the plan is.
They were fucking around when they said you're going to eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
You're going to eat pieces of shit for breakfast. You're going to eat pieces of shit for lunch. All of this is going to be like, we've got to beat Trump. So the way to beat Trump is to be as right wing as possible. We're triangulating, and look, it's probably going to, it could work, which of course means that the Democrats will work to empower the Republicans as much as possible so that they can.
That's the only empowering they will ever do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
They'll be working to like elevate fucking Tom Cotton. They'll be working to elevate who are the real whack jobs? Ted Cruz.
Nancy Pelosi. Oh.
Yeah. They'll be just whoever's really bad. They'll be like, yeah, this is the face of the Republican Party, and you've got to join with us because we're not openly fascist. It's the easiest job in the world. They can really appeal to the demographic that they really want, which is Republicans. Like that's who they want. So this is what they're getting. Alyssa, what's the positive spin? What's on the bright side of this?
On the bright side of this, I want to illuminate the fact that Pete Buttigieg is no longer running for president, first and foremost. That is a positive. One that is very, very, very stark in the fact that Biden is still running.
He's still running.
I'm going to say something really horrible right now, point blank period. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. I feel like we're getting to a certain point where it's really, 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 really hard to justify some of the levels of cognitive dissonance. So I'm going to be real with you. I felt like we didn't spend quite enough time. Not that we should spend any time on this, to be clear, but just on the fact that somebody literally talked about alien DNA and demon semen.
We have so much bad shit that's going on that like demon semen is now part of the fucking background. You just go out.
It's just like the devil's lettuce.
Demon semen's falling on your head. You pull out an umbrella and you try to go about your fucking day, dude. Like,
fuck Coheed and Cambria. Have you ever heard of the seed of demon?
Have you ever heard of the demon semen? That sounds like now you look like a cheerleader for Team Semen Demon.
I mean, at this point, if I don't know. I guess I've been advocating for Satan a lot in the last 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Sorry for all of our Georgia watchers.
Maybe, no, yeah. So listen. Do you want to talk? I mean, we've got to come back to this Kodak scandal. But
I don't even know what that is yet, and I'm just going to tell everybody that I will be drinking for every new story we come across.
Oh, then you need to drink for the Medicare story. You need to drink for this alien DNA story. You should already just be fucked up.
Okay, but reap what you sow. So here we go to the.
Are you a violent drunk? Are you a violent drunk?
No, I'm not violent in any capacity.
Are you an angry drunk? You're just like are you a cuddly drunk? We've got to sort you into a category. Because you've clearly gone choppy. I'm just gonna introduce you to the next story, and then when you get back, you can drink a little more. So let's talk a little bit about this. We've got, and this is from our friends and high quality journalists at the New York Post. The internet is drunk. It's drunk. It's me. The internet is the mean drunk. It's a mean, violent drunk at all times. So let's talk about Joe Biden. So Joe Biden's entire rationale now is he's going to scoop up like the weird older white people who aren't super into politics. And that's what he's going for now. So and it's easy because all he's running on is like, God, I'm not going to be as bad as Donald Trump. So if Donald Trump is, shooting people in the chest, he can come out and just say, just shoot him in the leg. It'll be fine. So Biden is like, hey, the stormtroopers are out. I know. Yeah, that is, I mean, literally, yes, the boomer vote, or like the really rich lib vote of people who have no actual stakes in anything that happens in America because they have just enough money to insulate themselves from, the need for childcare, the need for paid leave, the need for minimum wage increase, the need for Medicare for all, the need to like smoke a joint and get over this shit, whatever it is. I see you. So Biden calls. I mean, if there's armed stormtroopers on the streets, I'll let you predict. Lisa, how should these people be handled? Well, they've got to be tried locally. I believe that we need to hold those who violate the law accountable. We should never let what's done in a march for equal rights overcome what the reason for the march is. And that's what these folks are doing. They should be arrested, found, arrested, and tried. So really, we've already been through this. We've already played this
Fuck
movie.
that bullshit. I love Nina Turner.
Well, yeah. She compared it to eating half a bowl of shit versus a full bowl of shit, which
I disagree with.
Why?
At what point are we gonna make a decision? Like, are you really gonna be that much more disappointed? Like, with the distinction of eating a half a bowl of shit or a full bowl of shit? Anyways.
Half a bowl of shit, yummy, yummy in my tummy. What do you mean?
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
Huh? Y'all eat pieces of shit? What's the basis? I hate him. Sorry.
But anyway, we've lived through this already, right? Like, we did this shit with the Obama era, and we did this shit with Occupy Wall Street. And it wasn't like there were people in Occupy Wall Street committing riots. Obama got together with the mayors and was like, we got to beat the shit out of these protesters because they're getting in the way of business. Like, all this shit is not about the American rights, dude. It's about, like, people on the street constantly. It takes away from property values. So anything that gets in the way of the fucking gentrification has got to get its ass beat. All this nice stuff that the Democrats are saying, it's just nice stuff. And you know that because you can go to any of these major cities and the mayors are Democrats and the cops are beating the shit out of these protesters. Now pick a city. LA, Democrat governor. Chicago, Democrat governor. Atlanta, Democrat governor. New York, allegedly Democrat governor. The motherfucker's quoting Karl Marx. The problem is the NYPD has his ass surrounded like a hostage negotiation. I
want to make a point too on this. Okay, cool. If you listen to the beginning of the 50th anniversary of I fucked it up. But the pedagogy of the oppressed, right?
Yeah.
You can hear a lot about the last, parts of their conversations, and they really talk about how destabilizing and harmful it is to have people that are like falsely, like basically doing shit in the name of Karl Marx in academia and the ivory tower, and then they operate in every other single capacity, like their personal lives and et cetera, as bullshit neoliberals. And so the 50th anniversary introduction is a really good introduction because it was written after Trump was elected, and they examine Obama and some other things that kind of took place, I think, in 2016 that are pretty important and relatable to all these different things that are going on. But one of the biggest things I go into is this whole, like, I don't give a fuck if you're like, I really like Karl Marx. In fact, you are more likely in every capacity to be better at theory than not only me, but like a majority of people. Being better at theory and or being able to quote Karl Marx is irrelevant in a lot of capacities if you're not engaging in realistic, community opportunities or whatever it may be. That is, if you're not living the actual life. I am trying so hard not to say walk the walk and talk the talk, but basically
walker and talker the talker. Listen. So, but yeah, it's literally every city, and it's bad, and it's all these are all Democrats. And look, when George Carlin, did you see that thing about how they took like a George Carlin speech and then made it to be like some boomer resistance lib fuck Trump shit? Oh, no,
but I want to see it.
They cut a George.
I don't, but
you don't want to see it. They cut a George Carlin speech like over a bunch of Trump footage, and yes, it does work because Carlin like raged against just complete pure. This is why I was enchanted with philosophy. Too much thonk. It's true. The thonkathonk.
Just because you got the thonk doesn't mean you got the tonk.
It just because you got the thonk doesn't mean you got the tonk. A big thonkathonk. Anyway, we're
Is
losing.
that our new T-shirt logo that we make? I'm just saying.
It's not going to be a new T-shirt logo because viewers, as soon as I started the katonk riff, people just started filing out. So don't leave. We'll stop thinking. It's fine.
Fine. I'll just keep drinking.
So yeah, it's a complete mess. It's Democrat mayors across the country. They're all complicit in it. And yeah, George Carlin, he hated the idiots. And Trump is a COVIDiot conspiracy with idiot governors. Go ahead.
Yes, but his first big move in office was also like directly quoted from the fucking original. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. But huh?
What?
Are you making fun of me?
No. Why would I do that?
Because I'm easy to make fun of, and I would do it if I were you.
I don't believe that. No.
You're too sweet. But the fucking I want to say 1913 Immigration Act, which was this absolutely bonkers white supremacist. And I will say this: as much as we all fucking hate white culture, myself included, the reason we know and can point to like white being once again a culture is this like the concept of white and excluded from that category has been like historically debated for a long time. It's a total social construct, as we know. But so like when you go back to that original Immigration Act, it is very extreme, and Donald Trump and Steve Bannon took that for verbatim. Like it's I'm trying to remember the book that I originally read that in I can't, but I will come back to it later. But weird immigration rules, right? Well, so like did y'all see that thing floating around the other day that was like I'm trying to be like, do y'all know about all the weird different ways that they used to measure race and just how much of a social fucking construct that is? But it's so obscene because we talk about how bad Donald Trump is, but he's like, if I just flip to 1900 before we started like criticizing Hitler, it's a very easy playbook to steal from. That's my rant. Sorry, we lost so many followers during it.
Listen, I do this show for myself. I really do. It's. I mean, the people you're here, and I mean, we love the people, and they should definitely go to patreon.com/notsafe to purchase more of our content as we gear up. We still continue to prepare for season 2 of more great content, but fuck them. So we've got this situation with Biden, and yeah, he's just talking about democracy is at stake. How he'd be the most progressive president in American history, which is so. First of all, FDR was pretty progressive, bro.
What about Jimmy Carter?
I mean, Jimmy Carter was economically pretty conservative, and he was more socially forward thinking. I don't know if he used the word progressive, but he definitely predicted a lot. He was more religious. Do unto others, do to your neighbor kind of person. Great post president, let me tell you. Going out and building these houses. I'd take Jimmy Carter now more than half of the people we've got in Washington. Maybe most of them. Maybe all of them. For real.
I mean, all of them except them.
How many people in Washington, D.C. right now call the situation in Israel apartheid? Like, the list is Jimmy Carter and no one. Rashida Tlaib. That's like the whole list.
I love that woman though. I can't even emphasize. I feel like a Rashida and Senator and Yahya Nina Turner would be probably the only thing that would get me as excited as I ever was for Bernie in 2016, 2020.
We'll see what happens.
But also, yeah, I don't believe in electoral politics anymore, and that's really hard, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe in 4 years, it'll be an open seat. Biden will maybe hire some weird Defense Department flunky faceless that has no appeal, and it'll be an open thing in 4 years. I think it's equally likely it'll be like Kamala Harris and the money will be behind her, but Kamala Harris isn't a good campaigner. She's not a good speaker. She's not a good, I mean, I don't know if
she's not a good person. She's
Yeah,
not a good person.
but obviously being a good person doesn't have much impact on whether you will win a Democratic Party primary anyway. So I don't see a reason to bring that up. Like, oh yeah, that whatever.
I don't think most people in California hate her so much that I think she'll kind of have the same fate as Elizabeth Warren, to be honest, who is also an absolute bullshit fraud, in my opinion.
She's definitely trying to get out of there. She's trying to get out of California, you know.
She should. Bye, Kamala. Oh, sorry. I'm not a fan. So part of the reason for that is she is the first person that came to California and was like, not only are we going to absolutely turn our school to prison pipeline into like an efficient school to prison pipeline.
That's rad.
We're going to turn it into one that makes it so that you're also super fucking poor during it. So we're going to give you fiscal fees and penal fee, like just all the shit if you show up late to school. Like legit, you could pay $100 fine if your student is tardy to class.
That's great. It's another thing that's legal if you're rich, which is really what America is based on. It's legal if you're rich. That's all I find fucking legal if you're rich. Just fucking park on the curb. Who gives a shit? You know?
Who gives a fuck? But that's why I do highly encourage everybody go type in parking fees perpetuate. Never mind, I can't think of the name of this, but there are two very, very good articles that I based a lot of my research on for my basically crowning loss at UCSC and why they ultimately ended up hating me. But one of them is based out of Chicago. It's called I think it's called STOP, like STOP as an acronym. But basically, I will post links and make sure that they get posted on here to these two different articles. But here it is. How parking fees perpetuate poverty. If you type that into the internet, you will probably find somewhere where you are located where you can see how when you give somebody a fine, it really often perpetuates a cycle of poverty for people who can't afford to buy those fines. I could rant about that forever. Sorry.
But of course, it's done on purpose.
Yes. And that is why it's so interesting that my university decided to reinstate parking regulations at our school and has now been heavily ticketing only two communities on campus, which are ironically the two communities on campus that I called them out for in the beginning before we had a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Which
that sounds
our historically black college.
Yeah.
And our
college, I recall.
Yeah, our family student housing, which is predominantly I'm the white trasher. Everybody else here is
white trash. You don't have if you've got it within arm's length, I mean, go for it, but you don't have to.
I usually do, but I don't.
Now I feel like we now have to have a soundboard. Donate, and we'll get a soundboard for things like this. So listen.
Could you guys imagine a whole episode where Brandon is talking for my voice and I'm talking for him? Because that'd be kind of fucking funny.
That actually would be fucking great. Let's talk about Kanye West. Let's see if people get into this. So there's not exactly any brand new Kanye news. BuzzFeed wrote an article saying we need a new way to talk about Kanye West, and he's really struggling. He's going through hard times, and we, just as a public, we've got to find a way to be nicer to Kanye West, to just kind of quote some pieces of him. He has long been an object of intrigue. Readers would and do click to find the outrageous things the outrageous celebrity has said, but this relationship needs reform. There's a lack of context regarding his bipolar diagnosis, which questions the viability of the presidential bid, but never entertains the possibility that the man giving all the outlandish pull quotes might not be doing so well right now. illuminate our inability to step back and ponder the ethics of the internet content mill. So let's talk a little bit about this. So first of all, is should we even be covering Kanye West at all? He is like an incredibly famous human being. He's a musical artist, one of the top performing musical artists of the generation. He's got a new album out. To what degree should we be like? Let's put it like this. This is a more interesting question. To what degree should we suddenly care about like Kanye's mental health because it's tied in with the presidential race? Because I feel like if he was just tripping and promoting an album, it would just be like he's tripping and promoting an album and nobody would care. I mean, I can't really think of any musicians who, when they're having a meltdown, we all are like, we have to stop. We have to stop making fun of this. We have to take it seriously. Britney Spears, when we were kids, just wept in a gas station and curled up in a ball and shaved her head so that they couldn't get her DNA to give her like court-ordered, court-sanctioned, custodianship to her shitty dad or whatever the situation was.
Free Britney, by the way. Free Britney. Just put it out there. If you look at the shit, it's shitty.
She needs to be freed right now, actually. She's still going through shit, which is one of the reasons why she doesn't like put out music and shit, because she legally doesn't get any money from anything that she makes anyway. So it's like, fuck that.
Okay, but before I get into the Kanye West thing, I did promise I would be.
Yeah, you owe us a lot of drinks, honey.
Excuse me, sir. I've taken 2. This is my 3rd, mister.
Sir. I will call the manager of this podcast.
This is my favorite. Justified.
You are the manager of the podcast. There's no one for you to call.
Excuse me, you do not understand the depths of my Karen abilities. I trained for years in this shit. It's total imposter, and I finally figured out. But I will also say this. It is one of my favorite things because they don't expect me to be able to do it because they clock me as white trash on this campus all the time. And they'll be like, fine, I'll get my manager. And I'll be like, white trash. And then I'm just like, so, okay, let's go. Karen 2 is in the building. 2 Karens fighting. It's like a boss fight. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead. No, have a blast. There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is really what we're here for. This is the kind of quality entertainment that makes the world.
Sorry about the burp.
Yeah, we love it.
That is an excellent comma.
That is an excellent.
I said comma, but I meant comment. I was still recuperating. Okay. That's 3.
Posting from Twitch, which generally we don't support, but there's Twitch keeps hanging on. So you Twitch people, enjoy it while you can, you losers, you dorks.
Oh, I love Twitch people. I just want to make it abundantly clear. I was just kidding. I use an adopted voice for that, but everybody logged off. I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kanye Twitter.
Let's do this.
Yeah, should we care about any entertainer's mental health? Should we care about it more if they decide that they're running for president? Does it matter?
So
is there a difference?
That's an important question to ask because that insinuates that we're going to be still using this system in 4 years, and I like to pretend to think at the very least that we're not going to. But so that's me. But I think if I'm going to be and I have some integrity here. I'm gonna be real. I do think we need to care about Kanye West's mental health. I think that irrespective of if we have a precedent for caring about mental health of celebrities beforehand or not, I think that we should start. So I'm kind of one of those people that's also like, I don't give a fuck if we have a precedent or not, but that's also because I studied law and psychology, and I really...
Yeah, it's not always a good look to say, well, this other person had it rough. This is like this is boomer politics. Like, I didn't have my fucking healthcare paid for, so fuck everybody else. So, I mean, we don't need to cite precedent and be like, well, they didn't care about Britney, so fuck this other person. That's not really, it's not a logical way to move things forward as a people, obviously.
I think one of my favorite tweets I ever saw, I'm going to butcher it, but was something along the lines of like, if you grew up, or like if you're one of those people that's saying, I grew up, I had a really hard time, I overcame my obstacles, and I'm here, so you should have to go through those same things, then you did not grow up okay, like you just said. Actually, you got a lot to work on, because you shouldn't be wanting that hardship on you as well. So obviously they said it in 240 characters, but and so this does bring us to the point of being like, okay, right, so we haven't done things right in the past, how can we do them in the future? And I think that let's be fucking real, between Schwarzenegger, Trump, and fucking Kanye, there's also this aspect of like, all of a sudden Oprah's up on the scene, Elon's getting into shit, and I'm just like, celebrities trying to get involved in politics is not new, but them having success is not new either. But there is more of a trend. There's more of a trend.
Yeah, it's true.
So if
the challenging thing about Kanye West's bipolar disorder is that he thinks about it in an anti-psychiatry way, like accusing Kim of forcing doctors on him and stuff. I think because she hasn't really made a comment on this and hasn't talked about it, but can you imagine like being a mother of a child and your husband, like, I'm going to run for president, and like Kim's training to be a lawyer, right? So she probably knows how to run for, like, to the extent that any regular citizen knows, like, you can't just say you're running for president and be on the ballot. Like, she probably knows all that shit. And Kanye's like, I will find a way. I'll do it. I'm Kanye West. So you don't go with him because you're like, this guy's making a damn fool of himself. I'm going to let him do it. And then he's like talking about abortion and your child and your daughter and shit. I mean, so she's not talking about it on Instagram, but you can imagine like a rational person being pissed off that their kid is being dragged into their husband's like weird side project, billionaire, vanity, weird shit, right? Because your privacy is not in any way being preserved in that moment. And then he's on Twitter talking about your mom, calling her fucking what's her mom's name? It just escapes me for the moment. Chris Jong-un. Yeah, Chris Jong-un. He's just tripping on Twitter, calling you everything but your name. So, yeah, I bet she's more pissed than she's letting on, basically. And all sorts of say, go ahead.
No, you got it. I wrote mine down.
Yeah, all sources say Kanye is not like super into his marriage right now. So, you know, but you've got kids at this point, so you've got some responsibilities there. But Alyssa, go ahead.
Well, so one of the things I was going to say that's interesting, I think, and I don't know what this speaks to. I'm not going to pretend like it means, like I have no idea what it means. But something I do find very interesting is, do y'all remember when Kanye West and Mike Myers were on TV during, I think it was Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah, that was like 2005, 6, yeah.
Yeah. And so for those of you who don't remember, you know, there was like a couple cut scenes, but ultimately Kanye West dead ass looked in the camera and was like, Bush does not believe that black people matter. And Mike Myers was like, surprise Pikachu. And then it cut away to some other guy that was like, also surprise Pikachu. And they got it together.
Buddy, I'm just here for a fucking charity gig. I'm just popping my head in here. What's happening?
This is exactly what it was. Bush don't care about black people, right? That's exactly what. So what I do find interesting is that Donald Trump, whether he meant to or not, has made himself. I have a hard time ascribing intent to Trump because I have a hard time viewing him as anything other than a toddler. Not saying he isn't a grown, capable man. I just don't know. Anyways,
Right.
so like with that whole thing, I think is a mental health issue is an interesting thing because he's been known to say things that were like kind of socially outrageous, but also sorry, the next comment is hilarious. Yeah. It's an
God damn
excellent
it, wow. Incredible.
snaps. Right, and so I'm like, at first when I first thought of this, I was like, oh my gosh, look at how there's like weird inconsistencies, but you could also argue it as consistencies because like I I think that there is a pattern of him saying outrageous things online. Now, again, I don't think it's outrageous for him to say Bush doesn't care about black people. Like I think that was pretty spot on. But at the time, it was kind of an outrageous thing to say. As you can tell by Mike Myers' eye emoji right there on our screen. So I don't know. What I was gonna say is that I do think that Kanye West has mental health issues. I am not willing to say which ones I think he has. I don't know him that well. I do think though that we should move towards starting to kind of like alleviate people of specific burdens. That said, I think it's really hard to do right now with our current system. It's based on capitalism, and at the end of the day, if he's over promoting himself in any capacity, whether it has to do with mental illness or not, more people are going to be talking about him. There's a likelihood that his album sales are going to increase, therefore giving him more power. And if we have not and are not questioning his mental well-being and or ability, and then he does decide to run for president again, we run into like basically Donald Trump. I'll be real with you though. I am much more concerned about Elon fucking Musk. And I didn't want to tweet it because I didn't want it to be real, but I'm terrified of an Elon Musk 2024 run, and I think people will fall into that much more easy. Sorry, that's my rant.
Well, here's another interesting thing. Should we be asking, like, well, first of all, how? I don't even know how would you help someone who is? I feel like when you solve this problem, you solve America. How do you help someone who clearly has a psychiatric issue but refuses to seek treatment, and thinks that the treatment is like a conspiracy? Do we make them take their meds? Do we like put Lexapro in their ass as a suppository? What is happening?
Well, and that's a really, really good question. And I'm gonna put on my psychology hat, which
Yes.
man, I thought I had my graduate hat, and I was just gonna put it on and be hilarious.
That would have
but I
been
don't
so
have
great.
it.
You've got to
It
keep
would have
props near you. What are you doing?
I normally do. Hold on. No, it's like fucking right behind me, and I know it is. But
Well, all right. Well,
irrespective. Go ahead.
really, one of the things that's important, and you're just looking at the camera instead of going to get this hat while I'm stalling for time. Get it together, Alyssa. Get it together. One of the things that I think causes Kanye's problems is he's making he's making albums, right? So he's trying to release new shit. And I don't know if as an artist you can make the kind of shit you want to make while you are fucking coping with drugs, you know? So I think that like regularly he get like I know a lot of people have taken this as he's just doing promo for an album. And like maybe that's partially true, but like it's also maybe partially true that he gets off his meds to finish the albums and they don't get fucking finished on time. And he's also, because he's off meds, he's more temperamental and more weird and more conspiratorial, but we don't really know what Kanye's day-to-day life is like. You know, we know anecdotes, and we have plenty of anecdotes that say that he's like a decent human being at times, and we have other anecdotes from people that know him well that say like, well, once you get to know him, he can be a prick and it's not always great to work with, and but despite that, it's obviously he's talented. He makes dope shit. It's just a very weird, complicated situation with no good answers. And maybe one of those answers is like he's got to retire. He's got to get out the game. In the same way that regular people have jobs that are not good for their mental health. Maybe like fucking going on a 50-city tour every year and a half because you had a fucking manic episode is not a good fucking way of life. Especially, you already got your money. And like shit like the shoes. I mean, they bring you like 3 shoe designs and you fucking circle one, that Ivanka Trump shit with the handbags. And what's the skill there? Like, is it Ivanka Trump has incredible taste in handbags? No. She has opinions about handbags. I'm sure that if you give me like 5 books about handbags and I read them in a month, I'll probably know about as much about handbags as Ivanka Trump does. Maybe a little bit more if I squeeze in like some YouTube videos on the side, right? It's not like with a few very rare exceptions. It's not like people in fashion have exceptional taste. It's just they have exceptional access to money / production. So Ivanka Trump is, they give her a handbag factory and suddenly she's a handbag manufacturer. And something kind of similar is going on with Kanye. I think one of the other big problems that Kanye is running into is like, whenever you listen to Kanye talk about himself, it's always like fucking, I'm Stanley Kubrick, I'm Steve Jobs, I'm Walt Disney. And, society is never going to let him be that. Like, there's no rap music will never put you on Stanley Kubrick's level, right? Even if you make My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, first of all, you only make that record once, right? And he has dope music, but like, come on, he only dropped like he only has like, how many classics does he have? He has a lot of really good albums, but like world-defining classics. Maybe like 3. That's a lot for anybody, to be fair. But yeah, it's just a mess. You try to put yourself on that pedestal, and that requires, again, it's not just superior taste, it's access to capital. So who are the factory owners that are letting him do these business deals? And is Ye like a steady business partner? And if you're doing business with him, he brings in the fucking sheet. And for y'all who are not like into the Kanye world, let me see if I can find the Donda business model. Because, okay. Yeah, this is, okay. So this was Kanye's overall business plan like 3 years ago. And they said, Kanye, what is Kanye West? What is the Kanye West business? And it's something kind of like this. It's fucking everything in the goddamn world. It's lifestyle, publishing. I'm going to zoom in. It's emoticons, films, it's video games, amusement parks, fashion brand, furnishings, container company. It's consumer finance, credit cards, banks, reward program. It's medical cancer. It's curing HIV. It's making holograms, hovercrafts, a 7-screen movie experience, wallpaper screens. And if this isn't typed up in like a good typeface,
What the fuck?
this is frankly like some shit a madman would like write on a wall, right? This is what
Yes.
This is Kanye's like, goal as an influencer, as an artist. This is like the shit he wants to revolutionize. So management, artist, producer, personal management, matchmaking, internet, one-page destination. So basically one of the things that Kanye wants to do is bring back Lycos, right? Like, hey, we're talking about like Kanye's mental status and mental health condition. And we're going through the Donda business plan. If you are a Kanye head, this was like what was up with Kanye around the Life of Pablo era. He just wrote down all the shit that he wanted to do. And we're going to come to a point in a second. Are we American? We're proud to be an American.
No.
We know we're free. Alyssa's not. I'm not either. But yeah, we're American. But anyway,
Yeah.
protective services, bodyguarding, hotels, restaurants. So all this shit is all of it. Like, all right. So think of like what Walt Disney did. Walt Disney had a theme park. What America suck, terrible, bad,
Yeah,
war
dude.
crimes. Buddy, you're in the right place. Let me tell you.
Yes, you are.
You've come to the right place. Alyssa, what's your opinion of Angela Merkel? She's doing a good job. She should let more Muslims into Germany.
And I love her side eye. That woman's got some good side eye.
Yeah, she should be doing a lot more to
even do it.
Asian community. Gotta really get a level up on that. But
and to be honest, I feel like I don't know.
Ruined our proud Russian traditions.
So here's what I have to say about that.
Yes, this is why. Allow, you remember earlier I was talking about Twitch and Avatar, Twitch and Icon. This is what I mean. Like,
okay.
Like people come in there and they're talking about the Prussian traditions. But anyway,
we had somebody come in to our show the other night and say something, and they were like, "You guys got a guest on here?" And they were talking shit about what I was talking about, and I was like, "Bitch, I'm not a guest. I'm a co-host."
Oh, was this while I was here, or was this while I was out?
No, this was actually on the other show I was doing with Niall and Marcus.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm originally from Iraq. Now I'm in Turkey because America bombed my town. That sounds like us, buddy. That's very morbid, but yeah.
But I do want you to know that, in my experience, most of the people do not.
Well, the majority don't. There's a very large. I wish I could say it's a small minority of Americans that support war crimes, but it's a very large minority. It's a large
war
crimes. I'm part American. We're all part American, really.
Unfortunately,
if you ever had a Big Mac and liked it, you're part American now, baby. Poland. All right, this is. I loved. We're gonna have to get back to. We'll do one more of these, and we'll get back to what we were fucking talking about. But Poland belongs to Germany. She stole our territory given by the U.S.
Okay, right. I want to be abundantly clear on the fact that, like, the U.S. is never, ever a solid source. Period. Ever. Point blank. Period. Like, for instance, go look up the Louisiana Purchase. I mean, and that's an imperial example for you. We could talk about all the unceded land. Like, for instance, right now, the home I'm in, these 4 structures are on stolen, unceded, meaning, like, they're not like, oh, it's okay, you have it now. Like, it is still arguably debated territory that I live in. So, like, if you talk to most of the people who I live with in these structures, because we have no choice, like, again, that comes into, like, a lot of the 3 main pillars of settler colonialism, colonial expansionism.
Listen, do you remember Art Bell?
I don't know who that is. I'll be so real.
Okay, so Art Bell was like a late night host, and he did like the weird show about aliens and shit. This was pre-Alex Jones, and he would just have a late night call and would just talk about conspiracy theories and who killed JFK and aliens, and he would just have a line where, like, people could call in, and all the weirdest people would call the show and talk about, like, you know, the lizards that live underground and were conspiring with the president to enslave mankind as part of the New World Order. I feel like Twitch is that for us. It's just like the crank line. You see, this is literally what I'm talking about. Do you believe coronavirus is a natural virus or a man-made one? Like, this is the kind of stuff that we get on Twitch. And it's Twitch, get it together. Just get.
I want to bring this up though.
Okay.
Because, like, if you've logged onto this show and you haven't gathered by our remarks yet, our stance on this, like, for real.
No, but they're just wandering off the street. They literally don't know who we are at all.
Totally. Right. If you're wandering off the street and you don't know who we are very, very, very much people that aren't just critical of the United States government. We aren't just critical of electoral like personally, and I won't speak for Brandon on this next part because I super respect Brandon probably more than myself, which is like, I want to see it burn. I want to see it burn. I want to see it rebuilt. I believe in the capacity of the phoenix of the people. I believe in people power. And so to ask if I believe coronavirus is a natural virus or a man-made one, I just want to point out something to anybody that's on the show that doesn't know like my personal backstory, because I think it's kind of relative as to why I'm so outraged about the Medicare for All and why I haven't really gotten into that yet, which is that in 2016, Bernie Sanders in the United States of America, as we all know, ran on a platform for Medicare for All, making it abundantly clear we needed it. And the people really responded to that. Arguably, there was a lot of fraud, and it's been actually proven now, if I understand. And then in 2018, 5 weeks after I got onto campus at the University of California, Santa Cruz, my husband died of the flu. Like, flu. Complications from the fucking flu. Healthy 26-year-old male, totally fine, just got sick. He was in the hospital for a few days. And I was supposed to visit him, and I was in a class taught actually by Craig Haney, one of the co-researchers of the Stanford prison experiment. And I was in class, and I got this message like, call us, whatever. I got home, and I saw his mom calling me, and the second his mom called me, I just knew. I knew he was not okay because he was supposed to be okay, and I was supposed to be there, all these things. So, when somebody asks me if I believe the coronavirus is a natural virus or a man-made one, I want to tell them I don't fucking care. It does not matter. It's irrelevant, really. It doesn't. Who fucking cares at this point? Because it is a real, legitimate threat. And even if it was in some crazy world, something that was constructed to harm us, you still have the responsibility to protect yourself and to protect others that are exposing themselves to you.
Well,
this is the most ultimate, in my opinion, form of herd immunity, which is that you have to take the precautions. And I could go on a whole rant on that, but I'll stop myself, which is that never in a million fucking years did I think that more people would be widowed the same way I was. And it is so sad for me to see. It breaks my heart. I know how hard it was. It was 2 years ago, and I just finally got to the point where I was like, okay, and so there's so many people out there suffering right now from this, and it really comes back to it is our responsibility. And so I
think
come back to this.
I think when people say that, like when they say, like, is it man-made? The real question they're saying is, if it's man-made, what are they doing? What do they want? What is their end game? What's being done to us? And like, dude, this kind of shit is going to continue to happen as we have climate change, Willem. Like, there's tons of bad shit that's going to fucking thaw out. Yeah, this is what we're talking. They want to control our thoughts. I don't think there's any money in thought control, baby. There's already something called advertising, and it works really great. As someone
or the military, frankly, capitalism.
There's literally what power is in $1 billion. First of all, the economy has gone to shit, my man. Like, everybody's not spending money. No, there's never been a conspiracy. There's never been a conspiracy in the world that grinds your national economy to a fucking halt so that people don't buy shit. Look for conspiracies in the shit that makes you.
And nobody's buying Nike products.
Yeah, well, I think that Lord Bagel, I have to assume Lord Bagel is exasperated and trolling. But this is, they are lizards and they want to enslave us.
Right. Sorry, love you, Lord Bagel. I got confused.
Can you talk for 30 seconds while I bring something up to wait.
Of course. I got you. Here it is. Okay.
For a second, and I will bring something up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody, I'm just gonna put it on me now. Oh no, not you have to do it to me.
Oh, you're terrible. All right, there you go.
I am. Hey, everybody. Okay, check this out. So I'm posting a link in the video chat right now. And it's going to come from Alyssa Vieira. And it's going to talk about, or it's not going to talk about anything. It's just a Vimeo link, and it's, but I'm going to put it right here. Okay. So this is a video called COINTELPRO 101, and it was written by the Freedom Project, and it goes into kind of the depths of how much effort has been historically, in my opinion, not my opinion, how much effort has been put into the absolute suppression and God, I can't think of a better word to describe like the elimination, like absolute elimination of any liberation movement. So we're talking AIM or AIM, the American Indian Movement. We're talking Black Panther Party, and like so many different fucking. I'm trying to think of the other one. I can't think of it, but there was so many different.
Yeah, 159-304-63 at Vimeo. I gotta pull this up because
I'm gonna link it on a thread for this. Wait, sorry. Last quick note. Do we have a YouTube link for this so that I can share it?
By YouTube link.
Is there like a link we can share that doesn't like directly add somebody to the chat? I mean to the stream.
Oh yeah, there is one. Just go to Not Safe for Wonks on YouTube. Let me see if I can find our channel.
Because y'all should really do that.
We are streaming live, you know. Hold on.
We are streaming live, but also like you guys want to follow the people that we have like intermittently on all of our shows because we're like building and growing.
Well, this is our current live fucking thing. If you want to watch this show live, this is how you do it. But anyway, this is how I feel whenever I'm fucking listening to Twitch comments, and it's definitely this. It's just, why can't you just be normal?
That's so funny.
The USA are the Antichrist. Princess Diana was assassinated. We should take back Pangea. Germany should take back Poland. The government are lizard people, and they use MK Ultra to control our minds to buy Nike products. Why can't you just be normal, Twitch? Why can't you just be normal?
Oh my God. Okay, wait. This is some shit. Okay, wait, Brandon, side note, can you DM me this this link? Because I cannot get it through T.
Okay, yeah, hold on.
So here's the thing, while you DM me that link, I just want to point out to this to everybody. I think in my Twitter bio it still says like I don't support lizard people. So I want to be abundantly clear on the fact that like when I reference lizard people, I mean the elite. Because at the end of the day, I do not think we will ever be able to eliminate. I love you, Kiko.
I love anybody from Periscope. Periscope is the patrician platform for watching this show.
But that's also my boy.
Yeah, if you have a Periscope logo, you're cool as hell. If you have a Twitch Pro logo, get it together. All right, anyway.
Okay, so my rant about lizard people is my fun way of letting people know I'm not only cool and aware of my racial privilege, but my class privilege, and that I really can't emphasize enough again how much I want to burn it down. So like lizard people do not eat our brains. This is unfortunately not, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking on it, fortunately just not true. What I do think, however, is that they rot our brains by paying for very specific media advertisements. Hear me out on this, Brandon. Don't laugh at me, bitch. But sorry, I called you bitch. So what I was saying is that I think that there is very serious, real things that can be used hilariously, lightheartedly as analogy with lizards and eating things. Like, for instance, media representation. We overemphasize very, very young women as a sexually attractive thing. We reiterate these things just as we do by not reiterating certain things, like 0.01% of our media representation is Native and or Indigenous, and like 80%, that's not true, but it's a very large percentage of that is like literally advertisements for the Red Sox. Sorry, not the Red Sox, the Redskins, which is very clearly not a cool term. Historically an oppressive term.
I will just I before we get back to wrapping up Kanye, the lizard people killed Aaliyah to make Beyonce and Jay-Z famous. Beyonce wouldn't. I don't know. Well, I can't share my thoughts about that in public. I'll just say it might have been harder for Beyonce to come up with Aaliyah in the game. All right. Anyway,
we're gonna have to have a chat after this, though. I want to hear.
I knew it was.
I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Most times I believe in them. It's just when they're like super obscene, I'm like, the world is so horrible. We don't need to lie. Like, there's so many conspiracies going on. We don't really actually have to lie about them.
But okay, listen. So Kanye, one of the things that contributes to Kanye's mental state is that he knows there's kind of a hard ceiling. He's never going to be Walt Disney. But also, part of the problem is his ambitions are things that like no human being can actually achieve in a lifetime. Like if you think about Disney made movies and theme parks, and he did two things well. And he's one of the most famous like individuals in the history of the world for doing a great job at two things. If your plan for world domination is like 40 things, you're going to do hotels, you're going to make albums, you're going to do personal security, you're going to make credit cards. Like it's a little much. Even if you're just a tastemaker, like a Steve Jobs, and even if your job is to just be like, make this cool and look at things and go, oh, that looks cool.
That's so cool.
You just have good taste like a fashion designer. If you can do two things kind of well, you're incredible. Not 20. That's too much. And yeah, I feel like his reach often exceeds his grasp, or the other way around. Whatever. But
he just hasn't been a good guy since College Dropout. Oh.
He hasn't. But I mean, look.
College Dropout was a dope album.
Late Registration was a dope album. Graduation was a dope album.
That's true. But he didn't graduate.
Right. Yeezus was pretty good. Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was great. Like they're almost all great albums until like the last 2 or 3 years, and he started like kind of tripping. Yeah, I can walk and chew gum like a fucking champ. All this is to say, Kanye, more than anything, he needs new hobbies, in my opinion.
Well, like, or just like fucking. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Find something that you can do that doesn't involve wilding on Twitter.
Right, like Nick Cannon got that covered. I said Cannon, but I meant Cannon, and he got it covered. He's wilding out for real.
Wild. He's wild, and he's out. He's out. He's out.
Too bad for him that him being out was not like referencing other things. Yeah, anyways,
not that kind of out.
Unfortunately,
it's a hobby that we don't need to be informed of. Yo, yeah, let's get Nick Cannon a hobby that let's get Nick Cannon too, but let's hobbies and that we don't have to know about.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up, which is where I'm like, okay, let's talk about CIA plans. Let's really talk about them in Hollywood, though. If we want to really acknowledge this, go look up John Krasinski from The fucking Office.
Yeah, he's a total CIA shill now. I don't know if that was something in his personal ideology or if he just doesn't have an ideology and they just he was just a normie and they just got him into the building and they just pumped him up with the propaganda. And you remember when I said this on an episode, I was like, who are the number one targets of propaganda? Cops. And they gave John Krasinski the fucking propaganda that they give them, and he comes out like the CIA is actually safeguarding our freedoms. And he doesn't know any better. It's not like he's ever read. You think John Krasinski's ever read a book? Like, he's very funny. Like, he's an okay actor. You think he's ever read a book?
He just does this.
Yeah. This is a guy who's very famous for doing just this. Like, that's not the expression of a man that's ever read a book. That's all I'm saying. He's not read like fucking Open Veins of Latin America in the last like 5 years, I don't think. It seems
Which I have, for the record.
I bet you have.
I'm also just like a giant fucking nerd. The first comment I got in my first middle school dance was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that you read that much. What do you do with that?"
What do you do with that?
Try and make funny comebacks and then realize nobody understands anything I'm referencing. Mostly.
I feel like everybody on the podcast who's like got like a good major that's all just broken them emotionally, and they're like, actually, this was totally useless.
So that is the one thing I'll say. I'm gonna just take this minute. It happened. There we go. All right, she kicking in. I was referencing Ginny.
I know.
Okay. So where I hate Western psychology, but I do love how much I don't get clocked for having an education point blank period. And so there's a lot of times where like I'm dealing with like I had I don't remember what it was, but somebody God damn it, I don't remember what I was trying to tell you guys, and I can't even pretend. But it does definitely. I love my psychology degree.
You can sneak up on people.
Yeah, I can sneak, and it gives me this ability where I feel like I have a new lens to look at things through. But I also feel like I was not somebody privileged very much in the academic experience, and so when I finally like shoved my foot in the door and was like, I'm saying, I was able to get like a lot of information that had previously been very fractured for me to kind of be like pushed together and fused together. So like I'm definitely making up on gaps in knowledge that I have that I feel like a lot of other people do have that I just didn't have. And so sometimes I feel really uneducated and stupid. But on the other hand, I feel like I finally learned how to learn and grow from people. And so that's why like sometimes also I get really pissed at people saying super stupid things where I'm like, it's not that hard to read. Unless you don't know how to read, and then I feel bad because then I'm like, well, people aren't uneducated. So I just have the struggle. Anyways, hi everybody joining us. How are you?
It's like being conscious for the first time again.
Yes.
So this is why you click so well with everyone. It's really amazing. Like when someone steals your Pokemon card and you get online. Lau, you're the one exception to this meme that I just made. So congratulations to you. Why can't you just be normal? It's controlled by the
so silly.
Vapes are the devil hair. I don't want to encourage Wilhelm and Lord Bagel because they'll just start getting back in here and wilding out again. All right. Good Lord. I love y'all.
Good
okay.
Lord. We had someone wilding out in the comments the other day. Although I was talking about something like some pretty like heavy into like I don't know. I've gotten to this point though where like I cannot emphasize this enough, which is that I believe in order to have real change, you cannot just have like legislative change. You need to have social change too. You need to have social and legislative change. Go read David Spade's normal. It's not David Spade. That is an actor.
For a second, I thought, well, I didn't know David Spade was putting this work in, bro.
I will have to give y'all the real whatever name. But
I just love that, like, we leave episodes with you with a reading list. That's really unique. Like this is like a podcast that has extended reading, which is just great.
So instead of doing the white trash thing, which demeans me, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, which is like teaching award,
Lifetime of achievements. That's right.
which is that I have to say, I love teaching. And so sometimes I feel like a lot of the stuff I talk about, if I was able to give people the context that I had with it, might be more palatable. But also, just my family gave me a bunch of shit for being stupid, but also I read all the time, and then like I got grounded from reading once.
I love it.
Oh, okay. Fucking typos. Amen. David Blaine. Is that who it is?
Yeah, David Blaine.
Okay, well, so
yeah.
What I was referencing is called A Normal Life. I'll look at. I have it right here, but he talks about working as a advocate for
Oh, we can't say this. Oh, is it? No, it's not David Woodcock. That's an album. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have these answers.
It's called A Normal Life.
Oh, is it Dean Spade? Administrative violence, critical trans activism, critical trans politics. Yeah, this is Normal Life by Dean Spade. We're close.
That makes so much more. Hold on, Dean Spade.
Dean Spade. Love Dean Spade. Dean Cain. Yes, it is Dean Cain. Dean Cain, yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. It's called A Normal Life. Dean Cain. White trash.
White trash.
Okay. Y'all are right. I think. Wait, hold on. Let me see. It is by Dean Spade.
Oh, because we're looking at the book right now.
Yeah. Okay, so it's called Normal Life, Administrative Violence, Critical Trans Politics, and the Limits of Law. And so, yeah, it really talks about how you can't have real change without having a social change. So there needs to be social, and there needs to be legislative or legal change, right? So you need to have these two things at least to have change. And so what I really like about that is it serves to illuminate the fact that like part of human development is cultural development, and we don't really talk about that, but like how you name yourself, how you identify within the people within your group, like it's all super social. But there is a reading portion to this podcast. No, just kidding. So if there's not, I'm totally happy to share notes with you or not. But this is a new topic, so I'm gonna go ahead and indulge.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a reading portion now. That's what it's all about.
I had somebody the other day tell me. They were like, oh yeah, I graduated and I was so grateful to be able to stop being like in a constant state of learning. And I was like, man, spot on fucking turd. Just spot the fuck on. Like, and so that's why if you don't want to be a turd, you don't have to read all these things. But I do highly encourage you at the very least to try and find like short pieces, essays, video essays, whatever you want them to be, by important authors, because there's really so much good work out there. And most of the people who have the most progressive and just like amazing ideas that I feel like are really like actionable and realistic are the ones who aren't willing to charge for things and who will have them free online. So if anybody is interested in getting access to those things or struggling getting access to these things, like please feel free to hit me up or DM me with the request, because I'm super happy to send you just the PDF so you can have access to this. But I feel like we make a really big deal about peer-reviewed science and like scientific articles, and some people might not know what those things are even. So I also want to make it abundantly clear that like I have been throwing out this idea of starting like a series where I just like talk to people about APA, so which is the American Psychological fucking Association. It's like MLA formatting, how you type things, but when you understand how to read these social science papers, they all kind of start to make sense and they're really important. And because of this whole intellectualism stuff, it makes it so that a lot of the science is super inaccessible. Or it'll be posted on Reddit with this one title that says something like it's a final result, but then you actually go read the results and it's not anywhere in the realm. So I do want to throw it out there that there's not necessarily a reading portion, but I'm always here to help you gain access to and or help you develop a way to understand those things. And I've been a tutor for a bunch of years. So ending that. Sorry. Rant. Hi everybody. Sorry about that.
That seems fair. You don't have to learn stuff, but while you're here, you might as well. You don't get anything from not learning anything.
Yes.
But anyway, what else do we have? Do we want to talk about? I feel like we've covered everything bad that's happened.
Really?
The Trump Kodak scandal is also pretty bad. So if
I don't know what that is.
Right. Well, I'll just tell you. A long time ago, there was an old guy who ran for president. He was from the Northeast. His name escapes me, but he was pretty popular with the youngins. And after he dropped out, one of the things that he was campaigning for was the authorization of something called the Defense Production Act, because there was a virus that was, raging through the country, and there were things that were needed in order to support the hospitals, things like masks, things like PPE, respirators, all of this stuff that was needed, and the government didn't really do shit for anybody. That's also a pretty common theme here in America. So luckily now Donald Trump, just like 100,000 dead people later, closer to 150 now, is now like, boy, that thing that this old guy from Vermont, I forget his name, this thing that he wanted is actually a good idea. We should have the Defense Production Act. But Donald Trump has decided to award the money exclusively to the Kodak Corporation. So we can now get film and medicine from one convenient company. So this entire thing, it's always got to be a fucking grift with this guy. There always has to be a fucking personal connection. There always has to be a personal loophole. There always has to be some kind of weird Trump scumminess involved with this stuff. It never changes. And of course, now here's the actual scandal, is that the stock actually skyrocketed, right? Went through the roof. But there was movement on the stock. It went up like 50% just in the last week or so. So there are people who are in the inside who knew that this was going to go down. And they were like, well, now that I've got advance notice, time to invest in Kodak so that I can fucking cash in on the American taxpayer. So Kodak is going to become a pharmaceutical company, and it's going to produce pharmaceutical ingredients in the United States. You can literally...
To make sure I've got this totally clear, you mean Kodak, what was formerly the photographing company, is going to now be a pharmaceutical company because they both start with the letter P, and that makes sense.
That is correct.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued a state.
That is it. That's what's happening.
So good. So good.
And how could you have predicted that? How could we have Pictionaried that? We would have had to draw a camera, and you would have been like Polaroid.
And then a pill.
Yeah.
I would have been like, do drugs and take pictures.
Yeah. There's no way to predict how bad. There's always more in America, and it's always worse.
That's true. So, here's what I want to ask everybody watching us, though. Are y'all interested in a segment where either Brandon or myself watches the news for the day, the other person does not, and then we play Pictionary or charades to try and guess what the other person is trying to tell us about the news? The nudes. I just said the nudes.
Or we can talk about the nudes too if you want. I think that should be for patrons.
DM me. That's a private chat, though, I think.
Yeah.
But whatever. Sorry,
Patrons,
everybody.
patrons, I tried to get you in here, but it looks like it'll just be us talking about the nudes. That's how it goes.
But you could check out our Patreon page, and maybe you'll get to see what we talk about. OnlyFans. I'm just kidding.
That's right. Well, I'm not kidding. I'm going straight to the OnlyFans. I'm watching Magic Mike. I'm learning the dances. I'm doing all of it. That's right.
I'm going to Atlanta.
Excellent. I was going to go out there, so maybe we'll just get on planes and just miss each other. We can wave at each other from opposite places.
Why don't we just tour the country and make everybody miserable by our experience?
It's a great time to get on an airplane. Like, you'll get COVID. That's a problem. But the flights are super cheap right now. Yeah, I'll do the news blindly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You got to come down on a show, though. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Anyway, hey, look, it's been an hour and a half.
Oh shit.
We've done it. We've covered all the news that's fit to print. The fucking well, here's the thing. Like, the fucking PBS NewsHour is only an hour. But the thing about the PBS NewsHour is they're not getting high. They're not just reading comments on Twitch. They're not just doing all this bullshit that we do to inform people. Maybe we should. I'm not sure. So while Alyssa's out, let's talk. You and I. Let's talk about the news. Do you have any favorite ones? The Queen. Do you like? Did you know that the Queen is the Antichrist? Of course, if you've read the Bible, the Antichrist is it's just like the metaphorical position. Like, it's not like.
No, it's Alyssa.
Oh, speaking of which, how's the Antichrist doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. So I'm the Antichrist. I do not believe in organized religion. And my favorite story to tell about that is this, which is that I told this to another person of my same ancestry.
Okay. White trash.
I just happened to find it when I was looking for something else, and I made you do it. But here's the thing. We're all anti-God. But in all reality, like, I would love to meet a Christian who I would not personally by myself like to meet this Christian, but like in general on average, like try and find a Christian who is an absolutely bonkers fucking crazy Trump supporting, like, yay, demon semen, alien sperm, all that. But like a Christian who doesn't have something to say about some sort of edit and or like whatever about the Bible. So like if you're a real Biber, if you're a real Biber or Bible thumper and you don't have any qualms about anything written in the Bible, you deserve a whole different lecture.
Okay.
But for the most part, in general, on average, like nobody absolutely 100% agrees with the Bible, and God, I could just go on for this for hours. But I have family who's Catholic. I have family who's Christian. I have family who's Jehovah's Witness. I have family who's all kinds Mormon. Like you listed, I've got family that's all across the spectrum.
Yeah, I can bet.
Okay, but I mean this even to the point where like I have a family member who was born and raised in Jamaica, Rastafarian. Like I've got a giant different religious family member. Yes, I am a nerd, that too. But also, there are the queen of white trash has arrived. Hello. That's me. But I can't remember what I was going to say because I'm just still giggling about that. And then I looked over and was like, I'm not going to laugh about that.
You've got family from all across the religious spectrum.
Yes.
A little bit of everybody. And so
And there are some people who replace one addiction with another addiction. You know, they're like, oh, I'm not addicted to doing whatever hard drug it is, but I am sure into our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And you're like, cool. And then they do some crazy shit. And so, like, it's a very difficult thing. I'm not willing ever to condemn anybody that's super religious, because I think a lot of people do get into it with the best of intentions. However, that said, there is so much harm and bullshit in such a vast majority of that system, like the system of religiousness. It's like, fuck it, let's be real, like the religious industrial complex. I don't think I've ever seen that put out there, but that is a thing.
Yes.
And I think that it is astounding to me, because this one time I was talking to a Jehovah's Witness in our office at work, and I was talking to her about all these things, and she was super agreeing with me, and I was kind of taken aback, and I was just like, wow, I didn't really peg you as somebody to not be into the whole, you know, organized religion thing. She was like, oh, no, I didn't say organized religion thing. I said, like, you know, into whatever we're talking about. And she goes, oh yeah, well, I don't support organized religion. And I was like, oh, I thought you were a Jehovah's Witness. And she was like, yeah, I am, very much. You know, that's why I don't support organized religion. And I was like, do you know what organized religion means, honey bunny?
No.
Like, because, and she was like, well, so I've heard it used, and like I was like, organized religion literally means the difference between me being like, nah, I'm going out today and celebrating fucking Larissa, you know, whatever, or being like, okay, we're all going to church today to this organized fucking function. It's very simple, basic to understand, but like there is such a level of cognitive dissonance in these things that it makes me sad. And I always come back to education is the first, foremost, easiest for all of us, whether you have this education or not, to like share with each other, like shared knowledge and collective knowledge. I could go on that. Sorry. Rant. Disorganized religion.
Disorganized religion. And by the way, we can just gossip about stuff. We're working on a Sunday block of programming, y'all. So we might have like some Sunday morning
tarot cards.
Yeah, we might do like
shit.
We'll do something weird on Sunday mornings as the network expands.
Yeah.
And the Catholic, the richest org gay church. I love it. Okay.
I'm in the gay church.
Atheist communist church. Now I feel like we're doing way too many things at once. You guys are just going to become Unitarians. But anyway, the Catholic Church is the richest org on the planet. The joys of no taxation. Yes, and we can rebroadcast. We're really working on another thing that we want to do is reruns. We got to figure out how to do that and make it work out well. But just like playing the shit on a loop, I think would be really cool. But of course, you can always just follow us on YouTube. You know, just get in there and watch things after they're done. And we've also got we've got video archives, and YouTube and Twitch are probably the easiest way to get to our video archives. Although, I mean, we've also got a Periscope archive. If you go to it, look at that. Look at that. That's a science hat. I love it.
Found it.
Yeah, that's cool. Hell yeah. We love success here. It's rad.
We don't earn it, but we love it.
We don't earn it, but we love it.
I don't even know.
It's true. Like one of the reasons why I like StreamYard is like basically all of y'all are on the show. And in fact, it's easier for you because you don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to get your lighting in place. You don't have to talk to fill up time or anything like that. All you've got to do is type in the box. I do it for Niall once in a while. And listen, if you've got to take a shit, you can just take one. Nobody notices. So really, it's like we're all hosting the show together. Hardest fact of Christian is just It's about wealth more than helping others. The hardest fact with America as
That's
a
my
whole,
boy.
the hardest fact with the world right now is it's about wealth more than helping others. Jokes are useful, like you're spacing out the show, and at least you're not one of these freaking Twitch peasants. Get it together. Um,
Twitch peasants. Somebody called me a witch today, and I just pretended to cast a spell on them.
You
It
should
wasn't
have
today; it was the other
you,
day.
you should have hexed them. You should have been like, first I got
I
the
did.
moon, and you're next, buddy.
I did, but I did it in this weird way where I really hoped they felt. Oh no!
Just started talking backwards. Just start speaking in tongues. Yeah, just start speaking in tongues. You'll be fine.
Just started speaking in gibberish.
But anyway,
The guy. Harigamani get pretty go pretty
1 hour and 30 minutes. We've run a good amount of time. Let's wrap it. Let's call it.
Brandon's like, Alyssa, it's time to fuck off.
That's right.
Okay.
So let's do it. Let's fuck
I
off.
trust Brandon. Okay.
I'm a trustworthy person. So I'll
He is.
talk to y'all. And
Before
listen,
he logs off, though, I want to say something.
yes. And
I wanna
everybody's
see
not
this.
watching this right now, so they'll come back in the morning and they'll be like, "Damn, new content. This is hella." This is
Exactly.
great.
But I want y'all to know how much of a saint, angel, baby, and amazingness that is Brandon. Brandon is an amazing human, and I just cannot emphasize my adoration and just absolute love for you, Brandon. And so I just hope that everybody makes the fuck sure to go follow Brandon on Twitter if they're not,
Oh, God.
and to make sure to go subscribe to @NotSaferWonks, because legit my favorite human beings on this planet, who when my world has been an absolute shit show tornado of just like I cannot, I've been able to be like, oh, this is one. What somebody the other day was like, can you think of anything you can be looking forward to, or like that's positive? And I was like, oh, Brandon and Lorena, like, but so just good. We always follow back. Love y'all. We get on. Okay, for those of you, last rant. For those of you who don't have like more than 1,000, I think it's 1,000 Twitter followers, they put a fucking lock on you. It's super hard to follow people back.
You've got your follow back ratio. I follow back if you have good posts. If your timeline is all retweets, I won't follow you back. But that's just to preserve
I'm honored.
my adding new people and stuff like that. But I'm very generous. Like if you just have like a new post once in a while, they don't even have to be all that good. You just got to have some content, and I'll follow you back.
That's funny. I am similar, but kind of the opposite in that we're like, I will follow you, but if you act a fool, I will unfollow people. I'm not usually one to block. I don't block. I don't really care, but I will unfollow you. I don't know. But anyway,
I've muted. Yeah, we can talk about our social media policies later.
Yeah,
why do we block? Why do we mute? And that's actually a fun episode. We can do that. But
let's do that. Oh, I do think we have one coming up soon, because Hector and Lorena are going to be free probably, I think, tomorrow night. Yeah. So we'll probably be back. But as y'all know, Alyssa and Brandon are obviously the best out of everybody.
That's
so
right.
This
is like if you have Iron Man and Captain America, then this is like you're good to go. You have a movie. And it's like, oh, they've got Thor's here. All right, that's cool. Whatever. You'll make Thor if they show up, but
exactly.
You got the dream team. You're fine.
Because Brandon and Alyssa will make friends in a Shark Tank. Like right. Y'all drop us in the Shark Tank and we make friends. Yeah.
I miss all those dumbass movies. I miss movies in general. And I'll never forgive the Republicans for fucking up Tenet. We can't even watch it at the same time as everybody else. Because anyway, let's move on.
Here's my thing. I love the comic universes. Like, kind of hate Batman, not gonna lie. Kind of just a douche. But aside from, I know it's hard to hear, but like, all that aside, like, I do love NC Universe. Like, I love Marvel Universe. So I also have to say that I was super fucking bummed I think it was Civil War when,
Oh, yeah.
like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. My husband died, and I was just so bummed. And then this movie came out, and I was like, I'm just gonna dissociate. And then
Oh,
everybody fucking died.
yeah.
And I just like, I honestly, it was the first time that where I was just like, I'm so fucking upset. Like, I can't even try anymore. So following that up with MC Universe is good, but I want to know what y'all's best favorite like escapism things are. So you have to tag Brandon and I both in them because I want to read them and talk about them. I assign all y'all shit to read. I would love it if you guys assign me things to read, especially fantasy fic and or comics.
This should be a future episode. We can do all this shit.
We should.
Some iterations of Batman need the guillotine. Some iterations are fine. It just depends on the author and why. It just depends on who's writing them.
I think we should do an episode where we watch Spider-Verse, or Spider-Man Into the Uverse, and we should do a show with that with comments because I think there are so many iterations of Spider-Man in there. We could have some good combos too.
I like that. That's really interesting.
Okay, and
right.
I do think we should do blindfolded news. Again.
We should do that. We'll do that. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon.
No, yeah. But also if y'all have like
gimmick ideas, we'll do them.
Yeah.
Just DM Alyssa because she says there's not enough people in her DM. She gets lonely, so just get in there.
I also want to point out to everybody, and I'm gonna post this on my Twitter, but I had 691 Twitter notifications when I woke up this morning.
How is that possible? Are you just in every DM group in the world?
It wasn't DM. That's not DMs. That's just
you have like 600 randos that DM you.
No, that's not DMs, baby. That's just notifications. That's like notifications. But that's also because I have like kind of a bigger following number, and I follow a lot of people.
Do you have the bell on for everybody in the like? You have the bell on for everybody? No.
No, okay. I don't. Wow. But but that's also like I'll spend like 3 to 6 hours trying to get back to everybody. So also if I miss you, please double tag me. I really care about learning from all y'all. I posted a lot of videos and I want to hear feedback on shit because I've made some hot takes and I really feel like there's a mutual learning process.
Lorena, we already talked about this. Lorena's going to take over your inbox and you have to pay $5 to get directly to you, and you'll be doing pretty well. Yeah.
Also, here's the other thing. My computer is like this close to breaking down.
Yeah, you're gonna need a new computer by Black Friday anyway. So start.
Please don't do Black Friday.
Yeah, don't worry. Black Friday's canceled anyway this year, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
I'm just saying by that day, you'll be like, wow, coincidentally, I need a new computer. So anyway, let's call it. Let's get out of here. We love y'all. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.